everybody. Welcome back to Barely Filtered. This is a solo episode today, and it feels so weird to be just like in this little corner with this microphone. All like for some reason today, I just feel like there's microphone arms just like all around me. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Today. It feels like one of those days when do you ever just feel like everybody's bothering? I think I'm PMSing. That's really what it is. But a few things have led up to me just feeling like annoyed, and annoyed is like not even the right word because there's more to it than that. First of all, yesterday I was driving and I was like driving down the street and some idiot starts going like this to me, like literally barking at me from his driver's seat. And I was just like, oh my God, you don't see women doing stuff like that. Like you just don't. He obviously wanted to like startle me, which he did. Good job. And then he like speeds around and starts to like drive right next to me. And he kept like looking over and I'm like, what do you want, buddy? And he's like, you're gorgeous. And I'm just like, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm confused. Like, did he want me to be flattered? And he also looked offended that I wasn't so grateful that he was basically causing an accident, distracting me on the road, which I never am distracted on the road. Like, I never text or anything like that. No, that's something I'm working on, especially because I have a new car now. I don't have a Tesla anymore. So now I have to use CarPlay, and CarPlay like doesn't let you. I would voice text while I drove. Now I can't do that anymore. And it's true. Like I need to be a little bit more cautious because people die all the time from texting and driving and being distracted. Here's a little controversial take on this though. My brain, I thoroughly believe this. I actually feel like I drive better when I'm multitasking in some way. Like I feel like I'm able to focus better on the road when I'm kind of doing something else too, which not texting like I'm looking, but like if I'm talking to somebody on the phone or voice texting, but now I can't do that anymore. Anyway, so this guy really pissed me off. That was the first thing that annoyed me yesterday. Second thing, so I live by myself now, and I mean it's been 2 years, but like I still don't love living by myself. Like I don't know. I feel a little exposed as a woman living by herself, which is kind of anti-feminist, but it's true. Like we are the weaker, physically weaker of the two sexes. And like this guy started knocking on my door. I think he was probably from like, it's happened before. They're from like a phone company and they're trying to get you to switch to a different, like switch from Spectrum to Verizon or whatever. He's just knocking on my door. I didn't want to answer because I was like kind of freaked out. He's knocking on my door, calling, walking around the house, like kind of looking in the windows, being like, yoo-hoo, anybody home? Like, I'm like, I don't know. Men, lately in the last couple of days, I just felt like men have been very aggressive with me. The other thing, I'm in a new relationship, which I'm very happy about, and we're going to talk about that more, but like super happy. We're getting to the 4-month mark. I think it's 4 months. 4 months since we've been like officially talking, but I guess only really 2 since he like officially asked me to be his girlfriend. But anyway, we're getting past that like initial honeymoon phase. And all the data suggests that the honeymoon phase really is like the first 3.5 months. I feel like we're just starting to get over the hump of that. And this is the time when you really, it's the time when most relationships end. Like a new relationship would end probably after the 3-month mark. And I'm just starting to notice some things that like, I really do think he's the one. I'm so happy. But I'm PMSing right now. And it's like, I feel like men, I've experienced this with every guy I've ever dated. It's like they can sense that you're PMSing and they're like, let me just see if I can like pinch her nipple or like go over and like grab her at. Like they're like extra handsy. And I specifically yesterday, I heard some horrible news and I was just, if you guys know anything about me, you know that like, especially news that has to do with kids, it just like ruins my whole day. And it's something that is unfortunate for like a partner that I'm with or like somebody that doesn't really get it because they're like, are you going to be in a bad mood all day about someone else's news? And I'm like, yes, I actually am. But so I'm like, I'm doing a deep dive on this news, which I'll cover that too. And he's over here like grazing my inner thigh. Like, I don't want to feel that way while I'm sad. It's just like the most irritating. And I was like, irritated about that, irritated about the guy who was barking at me, about the guy who came to my door trying to sell me shit. Like, can all the men in the world just leave me the fuck alone before my period? Like, do I need a sign or something? Oh my God. And so that was yesterday. And this is the news, which is like it's just the worst thing in the entire world, whether or not you're a mom. It's just like, I don't understand how anybody couldn't feel just so sad for this woman. Well, I don't know when this is coming out, but Emily Kaiser, who is a pretty big influencer, she has like 1.3 million followers just on Instagram. And I know she does like YouTube, and she vlogs her family life and everything. I don't know if the specifics will change by the time this comes out, because she hasn't yet made a personal statement. But the information I got was that she was out to dinner with her friends. Her husband was watching her 3-year-old boy. She also just had a new baby. I think the new baby's less than like 2 months old. I don't know where the new baby was, but the dad was watching the son. The son got into the pool and drowned and died. And like, as a mother, I feel like I was like this before I was a mom, but even more so now that I am. It's just like, one mother's pain is all mother's pain, because you just know that this woman is living a nightmare that she can never wake up from. And like, that she woke up this morning and she's like, please let that not be like actual real life. And it really, really did happen. And like, I don't know what the husband was doing. I think supposedly the cops were called at like 7 p.m. Of course, I go to her Instagram, and some of the comments are just absolutely unbelievable. Like, who would give you children? Like, you don't deserve a child. Negligent parents, you deserve this. Like, so quick to blame. It literally takes 3 minutes, I think they say, for somebody to drown to death. I mean, a child, a 3-year-old. Have I never taken my eyes off my toddler for more than 3 minutes? Of course I have. Like, you get distracted by your phone. You get distracted by this is a world of distraction that we're living in, especially that they have a new baby. Like, maybe they were tired. You're not yourself after you have a newborn, the mom and the dad. And I don't know what he was doing, but whatever he was doing, he didn't deserve to lose his son. But the thing that like really struck a chord with me is like, I feel like it was my personal experience that I was so nervous to let my then husband do anything with my newborn babies, or like, it took me a long time to even feel comfortable just letting him watch them by himself, because as a mother and as a woman, I was just like, you're not capable. Like, you don't know. You're not worried enough. There was when I first had my kids, I just remember feeling like he doesn't have the same anxiety level that I do. Therefore, like, I need to worry for 2 people, and I need to exaggerate the drama and the potential danger of every situation so that I can get like a little bit of a rise out of him so he can take the situation seriously. I still do that. Like, yesterday when I heard the news too, I was sending my ex like, we need to get Soleil into this like intensive swim program. Both my kids can swim, but you just never know, like, falling into a pool or any kind of like traumatic something that might hit your head, or you hit your, I don't know. I don't know how my kids would if they're strong enough swimmers to be able to save themselves in that situation. It's just so devastating, and that's been like weighing on me from yesterday and today. And just to see everybody's react. I mean, for the most part, everybody is like, what can you say? But like, tons of condolences, and she hasn't said anything yet. But I just can't. I actually know. I know another family this happened to. She's a professional volleyball player, and same thing. Like, I think their daughter got into the neighbor's pool, maybe, but she was also around 3. And drowning is the number one cause of death between ages 1 and 4 for kids. The number one cause of death by a long shot. And then it's choking. And specifically with choking is like grapes and hot dogs kill like more kids than anything else. And then steak. So obviously, like, I just have way too much information on like all the things that could go wrong. It's very it's very it's just like I don't know. I feel like my nerves are exposed right now, and I just feel so terrible. And I feel terrible that it happened on the dad's watch because it kind of just confirms every mother's worst nightmare that like the dad just is not capable of being left with the child. That like if I have to do everything myself because no one's gonna keep an eye out like I will. It freaks me the fuck out because my ex has a house in Palm Springs with a pool, and my kids go there sometimes. Like they're going to be there for a week while I'm in Europe in June, and he always has a lot of people over. And there's this saying that I think is so true. It's when everyone's watching, nobody's watching. Because like when there's a lot of adults around, everybody thinks everyone else is watching. But really, it just like it ends a lot of times like kids end up drowning with a lot of adults present, but not one person feeling like they're on duty. So, it only takes a few minutes. Anyway, it's just so sad. And that's the mind frame I'm in today. So a little bit annoyed, a little bit sad. So welcome to my show. Okay, well, before I move into the good news, I also just want to mention the one thing that a lot of people are saying about this situation is that she didn't have a gate around her pool. And it's not illegal to not have a gate if you have a net. And I guess on her vlog, she had talked about how she didn't want to do a gate, even like the glass paneling that some people have around because she didn't like how it looked. So she had this netting around the pool. But the netting, it's like when you take it off to put it back on is a real pain in the ass. So I think what ends up happening is that people are not as like cognizant about putting it back on when they're done supervising the area. So I just feel like there needs to be something done about like the netting cannot be legal. I think they lived in Scottsdale. I think they lived in Arizona somewhere. And I saw an article about like, the article title was like, everyone's shocked about what happened to Emily Kaiser's son, but I'm not. And it's like all about like the statistics of, especially in places like Arizona where everybody has a pool, how many drownings really happen. And like that there just needs to be more legislation around pool safety because it's just so horrifying. Anyway, okay, we're gonna pivot. We're gonna talk about my new relationship because I mean there's there's been some progression, I guess. So last time I was talking to you guys, I had told you that I met him on Hinge and he wasn't really my usual type. My usual type for years, I had said like I wasn't going to date anybody shorter than 6'2". And that's one of the things I've been thinking about, things in my 20s that I would do differently in like love and life. And for whatever reason, I really wanted a tall guy. Now I just can't imagine why I ever thought that mattered at all. The other thing, totally randomly, I'm just going to throw this in there, even though it has nothing to do with my new relationship. Why did I ever dye my hair? Like before I needed to, because now I have gray hair and I have to dye it all the time. And when I look back and when I look at other people too, I feel like this is kind of huge news. The hair color that God gave you to match your skin tone is the best hair color for your skin tone. Like, have you ever noticed that? Like now I'm dyeing my hair back to what my natural skin tone, my natural hair color is. Like I'm covering up the grays. But whenever I try to go like super blonde and I look back at photos, I'm like, I spent so much money getting blonde highlights when my hair would have just looked better if I let it be like the kind of lighter brown with natural blonde highlights for free. If I saved all that money, I probably would have invested in crypto and been rich today. But I didn't, and I'm not. So that's one of the things I would change if I was to go back into my 20s. The other thing is that I would not put so much weight into the height of a guy. And also, I'm going to talk about a few things that I would have done differently in love. Specifically, the life thing was the hair. I wouldn't have dyed my hair as much. In love, there are some things I would have done differently. I feel like maybe I would have gotten to the kind of guy that I'm with now a little sooner had I not made some of these mistakes. Okay, number one, confusing butterflies with anxiety. I think we all love that feeling of having a crush on somebody, especially when it's new. Everybody can remember the first time that they had a real crush on somebody, and it's such a dopamine rush. But then it kind of leaves you vulnerable to seek out that feeling. And the thing is, it can't last. That feeling cannot last forever. So then the only way we get it back is if they kind of pull away and then re-enter. So that's where you get guys who are kind of like breadcrumbing or giving you intermittent reinforcement, which is something I did a reel on once, which basically is just like, it's like a slot machine. It's like they give you positive attention sometimes, but it's randomly and it's not all the time. So then when they do, you get that dopamine rush. So that's one of the things I would have done differently in my 20s, not confuse that dopamine rush, that, that attention and those butterflies for anything more than just honestly a chemical rush of dopamine into my system, because man, that would have saved me some time with some people that just were not for me. The next thing, this was a big one for me. Thinking being low maintenance makes you more lovable. I totally tried to be the cool girl, especially with my ex-husband, like when I first started dating him, because he was pretty clear about that he wanted a girl who was going to fit into his life. And I just really wanted to be in a relationship, like, and have kids and get married, almost like I didn't care to who. And he was like, okay, well, you need to fit into this lifestyle. Like I like to watch sports. I like to, I don't know if I really want to be monogamous, like all of those sorts of things. I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm like, and in my mind, I was like, I know I'm not cool, but like maybe I can try to be. And that didn't work either, because it's not chill if you're suppressing your needs, and also it's not sustainable. And then when I got older, I just realized that it wasn't something that I wanted for the long run. So definitely that one. Oh yeah, falling in love with someone's potential. Number 3, this is a big one. Feeling like you can change somebody or see that they might be the kind of person that you would want to be with later instead of right now, because the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior, and really all you have is what their past is and what you see in front of you right now. So any projection into the future is kind of just a fantasy. Going on a second date just because he's tall. I don't know why I wrote that one down. I mean, that's something that I think I learned pretty recently, actually. I was giving guys too many chances when I had my answers pretty quickly. Like, your body gives you the answers, especially on a first date. I think pretty quickly if you are attracted to somebody. And that was something that I kind of went back and forth with. And I asked a lot of people, like, do you think attraction and affection can change? And for the most part, people said yes. But I actually don't believe that that's true. Like, I think you can warm up to somebody and fall deeper in love. But I do think that right away, if there's not like a sexual attraction, for me, I have not found that to be something that can grow no matter what. And I think I was hoping that it would with a few people, because in other ways they fit what I was looking for. But it just never did. And then I ended up wasting a lot of time. And in one way or another, it fell apart. I would usually also kind of let him lead him to end it, or like cause something to end it, because I didn't want to be the one to break up either. I'd rather be broken up with than break up with somebody if I'm not really into them. So anyway, those are just a few things that I feel like I could have done if I had done differently earlier. Maybe I would have come to the guy that I'm dating now, or somebody like him, a little bit sooner. But I'm happy it's him, and I'm happy it's now. So I mean, I guess everything for a reason. I mean, I'm 36, so it would have been nice to get the hang of this a little earlier. I don't know. He's 40, and some of his friends who are single, I was suggesting maybe I'd set them up with some of my friends. And Zach literally looks at me and he's like, no, actually, 35 or 34 or 35 is like his max age. And I'm like, excuse me? So he thinks I'm old. Meanwhile, he's my age, this guy we were talking about. He's actually 36, but he won't date somebody my age. And that was the first time I've ever been I'm like too old. I've been cut off. Not that I want to date this guy, like I'm dating his friend, obviously, but for some reason I was still offended. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, what if she's a 10? What if she's an 11 or a 12? What if she's like a 9? I'm like, how hot do you have to be for the age to not matter as much? Yeah, I need to talk to this guy because I think he's making a big mistake. Because the other thing, now we're talking about Zach's friends. The other thing is that this guy just got out of a little stint that he had with somebody, like 2 months. She was younger, much younger, and they ended up not working out because she was not emotionally mature enough. But yet he's going back into the dating pool wanting somebody that age. The math is not mathing. But I feel like that's men for you. You know, I'm not going to convince you to date older, but he's missing out. Right? Yeah, because guys that's like they say that they want somebody who's mature, but they actually just want somebody who's young. It's interesting how the logic is always trumped by the, like, I don't know, what do you even call that? Primal sexual urge to procreate, or not even, I mean, just to fornicate, really, because I don't think they're trying to have kids or anything, but I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, so let's get to Zach, because I realize I've been skirting around this topic. So, man, we've been spending a lot of time together because I have my kids only half the week. So I would be with him for most of that time. And then recently he met my kids, and it was funny because they got along so well. And Remy is just of the age where, like, he thinks like big boys are super cool. And Soleil's like a little bit more hesitant, but she really just likes anything that Remy likes. So if Remy thinks Zach's cool, then Soleil does too. So they've gotten along really well, which obviously makes me so happy because we've been able to all spend time together. But the funny thing is, he had told me that he loves kids, and, you know, he was really excited about spending all this time with them. It only took like 5 hours before he was like, your children are absolute terrorists. Like they were just being normal kids, but we went to a Mother's Day brunch with a couple other friends of mine and their kids. And this is just a typical day in my life. It made me realize like how kind of impervious to this I am now. But we got there, you know, they want their treats, they want their food, all this stuff, whatever. Then their friends come. I wanted them to go play. I told them to go roll down this big hill. They roll down the hill. Both of my children have this allergic reaction to grass, like head to toe, just like hives. There's no Benadryl to be found. We're in Palos Verdes, which is like 45 minutes from my house. Nobody had any kind of Benadryl. So my kids are both screaming, having this allergic reaction. Then they both kind of calm down. We go to the pool at this hotel. They go in the water. The water like is burning their skin. And I'm just trying to like manage this. Meanwhile, you know, trying to like drink a little bit to calm my nerves. And Zach's just kind of witnessing everything, being like, when do we relax? And I'm like, oh, there's no relaxing. There's literally no relaxing with kids. So after that whole thing, we went home, and just getting them to leave is also just a chore. Like, they're wet, you need to find their shoes. Even if they're acting perfect, we're at a pool. So which means, like I said before, like a mother is never, like there'll be no relaxing by a pool with my kids. I'm like making sure they're not drowning the entire time, even if they can swim. And so I did that. And this is Mother's Day, by the way. Like, I did not get to relax at all. Then we try to leave. They didn't want to leave, you know, do that whole thing, find the shoes, find the stuff. Oh, of course, we left stuff. And then we leave, and then it's time to put them to bed and go home. And I do have an au pair, but she doesn't work on the weekends. So, and like, there's 2 adults and 2 kids. So I always feel stupid when it's like me, another adult, and then like I need an au pair. That's 3 adults for 2 children. Like, it just feels like, I don't know, my mom raised 5 kids, and she didn't have all that help all the time. So but the thing is, you really do just need as many hands as you can get. We go home, I have to give them a bath, I put them in bed, and like when all said and done, Zach just kind of looks at me and he's like, wow, like Is that what every day's like? I'm like, I mean, if you want to take your kids somewhere, pretty much. Like if you want to go on a fun adventure somewhere. And also it's like that it's not like it was like a free fun adventure. That whole day of torture for Mother's Day cost me like $1,000. Because like you need a ticket for everybody. We went to this like Mother's Day brunch at Terranea, which is this fancy hotel in Palos Verdes that has a pool. I actually saw Nicole Williams and her daughter India there. It would just randomly. It was really funny, and her friend was there too, and her friend's pregnant. And I was just like, with her first baby, I'm just like, I don't know. For some reason, like whenever I see women who are pregnant with their first babies, like now I just kind of have this like, okay, well, just wait. Not just wait in a bad way. Like it's the best thing that will ever happen to you in so many ways. But it's also like you are never going to be the same person ever again. So you just buckle up. But anyway, so Zach wants to have kids. And I asked him like after this day, I'm like, do you think this is still something that you would want to do? Do you still want to have kids? And he said exactly, he didn't say this straight out, but I got him to kind of admit that this is what he was thinking. And this is what everybody thinks who doesn't have kids yet. They think, well, my kid's going to be easier. I'm going to train mine to be special in some way. Listen, I was a teacher. I babysat. I had little siblings. Like, whether you're the best parent or like the most high-strung parent or the most relaxed parent, like your kid will drive you absolutely crazy. You will be stressed. You will be tired. And it'll be worth it. And I can't really explain why and how it's worth it, but it just is. But it's not relaxing. And I feel like that is something that I'm coming to terms with. And it's taken me 7 years almost, because Remy will be 7 in June. This is the first summer where I'm actually not bringing my kids back to Rhode Island. And I feel really good about my decision. I'm like doing this thing where I have boundaries now. And I'm just being like, I'm looking back at all the years, 7 years where I've gone home to Rhode Island every summer. And I'm realizing that like I do not, for the most part, I don't enjoy myself because it's very stressful for me. It's expensive, it's stressful, and it's not something that I really care to facilitate this year. Because here's the thing, I fly with them. And then my ex is usually in Boston, and then he'll take them for a couple days. But then I'm with them at my parents' house. And whether or not I have a babysitter with me, it's just having them adjust to life in a different place is hard, even if they're going to camp and stuff. And then also having to like explain my kids the way they go to bed, the way they eat, the way they interact, the way they operate, how they are around dogs. Like having to explain that to other people is exhausting to me. And I felt like I was doing a lot of that, like having to justify my kids' behaviors in certain ways. And they're good kids, like but everybody does things a little differently with their children, like naps and potty training and food and, you know, and when you're from a close family, everybody has a comment about it and everybody has a suggestion. Of course, everybody would do things a little differently and a little better. And I just not really like this summer is my summer, and it's the summer of me. And then I don't feel guilty about it. I'm going to Europe with Zach. We're going at the end of June, and my kids will be with my ex. Like I have anxiety about it a little bit. That Zach and I kind of got into like a little tiff about it because we've been on trips before, and he is like, you can't go away for 10 days because he says that the trips we've gone on, which have been like 5 days, that by like the 5th day, I get really anxious about being away from my kids. And it's true. I do get really anxious about being away from my kids. He actually said when we were at that Mother's Day brunch, he was like, why are you away? Why do you always miss them so much when you're gone, when you're away from them? That sounds really bad, but like, I don't know. It's just how God wired mothers to like miss the source of their torture, even when like I could be enjoying myself in the Mediterranean. I'll probably be missing my kids, but I'm going to go. I'm going to really try. I know some things to do that help me not feel anxious about my kids. And it's not like that I miss them. Like I can FaceTime them and that helps, but like a lot is wrapped up in it. Like there's the guilt, there's the anxiety about knowing they're with my ex. Is he watching them the way I would be watching them? Probably. Like literally probably, but like my imagination runs wild. So there's a lot of things, but if I don't if I don't like drink a lot and I take care of myself and I get sleep and I eat healthy, it does make a big difference. So I just need to remind myself to do that during the trip because I don't want to. It's not fun for him to be around me if I'm feeling anxious about being away from my kids, when of course I'm going to go home and then be like, I wish I was in the Mediterranean. That's just how it works. Another major progression in my new relationship with Zach is that I brought him home to Rhode Island. This was kind of a bold move because it was during Olivia's baby shower. And of course he wasn't coming to the baby shower. It was just girls and gays. and and he like stayed with me, and Olivia knew that I was bringing him. And he met, it ended up being the perfect time for him to come because it was like everybody in my family in one place. And he ended up, meeting my dad and my mom and my brothers and everybody. And it just went really well. Like he and Gus have this, like, they're both like super goofy and a little weird. And I think they get along very well in a way I can't quite explain. And then he also gets along really well with Sophie's boyfriend, Michael. They both are surfers, and he and Christian got along really well. So it really was totally seamless and smooth in Rhode Island. And then we went to New York after that, and I had some like podcasty stuff that I did there. And he was kind of just like wingmanning it. And that was nice because in my last relationship in my marriage, like my ex was such an alpha. Not that Zach's not an alpha, but Mike was just such an alpha. Like he was not a wingman. He would not be happy. He would maybe pretend to be like flexible, but like I could always see that he hated to be like on someone else's program. And Zach's just like a lot more flexible. So it's new to me and it's really nice. So that was a very successful trip. So anyway, that's what's coming up for me. As for me and Zach, like, I don't know, it's just so weird. It's weird how things can change overnight. And I feel like this is a good reminder to anybody who is single or, maybe going through a breakup or wishing that their life was a little different right now. Like I went from being very single, just single parent with my 2 kids, in like living my life for 2 years, struggling with dating people who it was like one disappointment after the next. And now I really feel like I have a solid plan for life. Like in 4 months, it's just changed. But I do feel like in a certain way, when like we both want the same thing and we're both on the same page with it. It's really crazy to think that like I know where things are heading, and I feel like for the first time in a very long time I have a plan. And so many people DM me on Instagram. They're like, "Oh, you look so happy. You look so like I'm so happy for you." Like for the most part, it's all really positive things. Like people have followed me from like my first marriage, to my kids, to my divorce, to now, and everybody is really supportive and happy. So I don't know. It's been a kind of a wild thing because I am happy. I don't feel nervous about like, oh, if this relationship goes away, I'm not going to be happy anymore. Do you know when there's a difference between like feeling like secure and comfortable and like happy in a very secure, knowing way that like this is meant for me. So I don't have any fears that it's going to go away, because if it does go away, then it's not meant for me. Does that make sense? So I just feel really secure about it. And I know what it feels like to be in a situation where I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, this is too good to be true. I hope it doesn't go away. And you're like kind of clinging to it. And you're like, shit, like, I can't let anything mess this up. It's not that kind of a feeling. And I think what I'm realizing is that when you feel that, it's probably because that thing is not meant for you. Yeah. So just going to leave on that wisdom, I think.